You are watching Tech Confessions, created by Amy Lewis and brought to you by VMware.
Hi, Lee. Welcome to Tech Confessions.
Amy, it's nice to be here. Although, the couch, really?
We want you to be comfortable when you confess.
I'm from New York. We're not comfortable on couches. Doesn't happen.
You have many great late night shows where, well, I guess they don't sit, they sit up a little more, but we want your feet to be up.
This is good. I do feel relaxed.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So, we always like to talk to people about what their software-defined moment was in technology. Of, when did you start thinking a lot about software instead of just hardware?
I came out of the hardware business, right? Big, let's call it storage companies.
Yeah.
You know these, right? And there were two things that really defined the moment for me. The first was when you look at the cloud, and nobody knows exactly what's going to happen with the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think it's just a one-way ticket into the cloud. People are just going to escape from on-prem. A lot of smarter folks, right, are deciding that, hey, listen, they're not giving up their car to go Uber every day. Why? Because even though it's pretty flexible, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So one thing, insight for me was, if you want to be relevant in the cloud, you have to be software or commodity hardware bits. Those are the two ways to interact with the cloud, right? So for me, as I like taking our enterprise experience, the idea of software relevance in the cloud, that was a defining moment. That was one. The other one is, I came out of the hardware business. I worked in flash fabs now twice in my career, and all of the new hardware is coming to servers first. Why? Because there's 10.4 million servers sold a year. There's only 50,000 SANs, right? And so when we look at just the economics right now, if you love hardware, it's coming to servers first, and we have the advantage of taking all this hardware, putting our software on it, and just making it magical.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. So, as you observe trends in the industry, because again, I love that you've seen kind of both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
Talk to a lot of customers. I know you talk all the time. What is a trend that has really, again, another confession, what's a trend that surprised you? What's something that you're like, we knew it was going to happen, or it happened sooner than you thought, or it happened in a way you didn't expect? Yeah,
so you were working a lot in HCI, right?
Yeah.
Hyper-converged infrastructure, right, is kind of the building block, if you will, right, the starting point. And it's interesting as we talk with NSX and the networking piece, people want to securely move their workloads, and our story is a vSAN will pay for it. And here's how it works, right? Is you consolidate, right? The magic of VMware from the start, right, was that you were consolidating workloads onto beefy servers, right? And then everything basically got punted out into the storage space. And that storage then was separate, distinct from the applications. That separation was a smart move at the time. What we're doing is we're repopulating. We're taking all that media, bringing it back into servers, and the aha moment now is that gives customers a new operational model, which is about speed. I thought it was about cost when I first started this, right? Hey, I got these x86 building blocks, and that's kind of cool, right? And it's all standard, right? But what we're finding, customers want the speed, the agility, right, to go and move. In fact, a lot of our customers, they're investing in HCI because they're competing with the cloud.
Oh,
and that's not everybody. They want to be, we're allowing them to anticipate the cloud, but they also want to be really competitive on-prem. And so I think that's interesting, is how customers are thinking, I want to be ready for the cloud. I'm not sure how I'll interact with the cloud.
Right.
VMware's making it totally investment protected. However I want, I'll be there.
Oh, interesting, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, if I dare say, can you put on your prognostication hat?
Yeah.
And look into the future. Where do you think we're going to be?
So we're talking a lot about the digital foundation, if you will, right? And I talk to customers, that's the most important decision you'll make over the next 5 years, is choosing a digital foundation that gives you complete investment protection.
Yeah.
Right? Any hardware, any application, right? Legacy apps, new cloud native apps, containers, and then any cloud. And what's interesting at this show, right, we're talking out about the virtual cloud network as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? And so the idea is that as customers started thinking about this platform, right, and the full investment protection, they started thinking, well, as soon as I think that whether it's a VM or container, that's going to move, a new security model evolves where I say, if I can go and apply attributes to that, well, then I can start moving that securely. That's a new way for giving the vSphere administrator a career path.
Yeah,
right?
That's important.
I extend into the cloud, I extend securely, and then with things like VeloCloud, right, now we've got the opportunity that just basically extends the idea of, hey, I've got a full distributed hybrid cloud.
I love it. I love it. In some ways that you're saying, or if I'm hearing you correctly, we've got a need for speed and the going forward,
It's
and a
just
need
agility,
for choice.
exactly. You want to be fast and agile, right?
Yeah.
And so I think also the IoT things that, here's what we've been hearing, right, is like 20 billion endpoint devices by 2020.
Wow.
Like that's just around the corner, right? And so if you think about that,
Mind-boggling.
now you want persistent infrastructure
Yeah.
at the edge. And so one of the insights I had is we're in the valley, right? And so it was interesting that a lot of the VCs first came to the conclusion that the cloud, we were going to have that swing back to a distributed architecture. And the reason they figured it out was they had invested in companies that didn't have to put much capital in, built businesses, and then realized that they could never be competitive until they built out infrastructure on-prem.
Interesting.
Right, so that was the model where people are like, wait a minute, like the cloud gave me that flexibility to go get started, but if I want a long-term, and so this is where the yin and yang of how we work with Amazon, for example. Sure, they want us to go and engage with their, and we're doing great joint work, and sure, we want to take cloud native developers and bring them on-prem. All of that means mobility, the network architecture is going to be really core to this going forward.
I love that. It's such a refreshing thing to talk about because there's so many pathways, and I think
Yes.
that I just always love to hear the many things that customers are doing because
Right.
they drive us to the next level, right? And that's what it's all about.
People aren't really sure, right? So the idea of saying, hey, listen, if I want to go and run, we're the only HCI running in the cloud, the public cloud. That's different than attaching to the cloud. The other people are talking about, I attach to the cloud. That's not the same as running the full stack in the cloud. And one thing we're finding right now is that by running in the cloud and the work that we're doing jointly with Amazon, our product is getting better for customers on-prem. HTML5. They're like, wow, well, we needed that for cloud engagements, right? Integrated dashboards, the full stack always delivered together, right? That level of simplicity is actually bringing benefits back to our end customer. It's one of the things that I'm excited about. The work that we're doing in the cloud makes our products better for both customer bases.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Lee.
It's great to be here.
When you're ready to make your tech confession, join us at techconfessionstheshow.com.